This is so weird.
At least I don't. He's refreshing again. Whiskey Joe says no.
Yeah, no. So I have it opened up in Chromium, and it's not.
Hold on, it should be going now.
It's going, or I think it is. It's loading. There we go. It's live. You got it live.
Cool. I forgot to hit the go live button.
Alex. You know, I blame it being the beginning of the week.
No, it's not that. I'm so used to doing it through Managed Broadcast and OBS that I forgot how to do it on fucking what you call it on in YouTube Studio.
Our reminder.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah. Or okay. Okay. Yes, yes. Right. I I mean, I get it, Alex. I mean, we just talked earlier about I freaked out because I couldn't hear anything from my headphones. Yeah, I didn't realize they were muted. Yeah, you are absolutely right, Josh. I'm glad we are here on time for once. Alex, unmute yourself.
How about that? Can you hear me now? Hello, you guys should be able to hear me now. Once again, rookie mistakes abandoned. I forgot to unmute my mic when I did the when we switched over. But anyhow, I want to tell you guys, thank you guys that are in the chat right now. I know that it is championship weekend, and we are, in the middle of the Chiefs playing the Ravens. I'm going for the Ravens. F the Chiefs, man. They played, my team is in their conference, the Patriots. So nice. I'm glad you guys can hear me. And so, as a courtesy, I have put in between the transition, the middle between Jonathan and I, you will see the score, and I'll refresh it throughout the live. Right now, there are 5 minutes left in the third quarter, as you can see, which is really, really nice. But what?
I can't see the score.
What do you mean you can't see the score?
I see the score. There is no score there.
It's there in the middle. I see it in the transition.
Now I see it. Whatever you just did, don't move from this.
I won't. Doesn't matter. Seattle's not playing. Darren, you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. That's all right. Nope, not convinced. Alex still hasn't made the proper Gen 2 video. Oh boy, Josh. Oh boy.
Though, here's the thing. I have a feeling the only proper Gen 2 video is going to be the one where you're loving all over it. But, that's when, you're just lying, Alex. I mean, we both
absolutely. I think everybody knows how much I love Gen 2. And, I'm sorry, Josh, that'll probably be something you will never see me do is a Gen 2 installation video. But either way, I just wanted to, I tell you guys, thank you so much from my heart for being here, on this. Jonathan, is here. And so I guess let's start off with the heavy hit. You don't even know what the heavy hit is.
I think I might, but you go ahead and start it and I'll continue on if it is what I think it is.
So let's start with the heavy hit. We're going on the overview of the channel, and today's topic is kind of a heavy one, but it needs to be addressed. Okay. And your camera's out of focus, Jonathan. But okay, there you go. And so it's okay, you're good. And so the reason why Jonathan is here and not another person is because there were major creative differences in the background. The other person had been spoken to, even though they say they haven't been. They had been spoken to several times through several different things in back channels. Jonathan was present for a majority of it towards the end of the year. And what happens is when you sit back at the end of the year, and so a lot of people know me that know me personally. I approach the channel with professionalism as much as I can. I approach the content that I make with professionalism as much as I can. I also encourage that out of our team. Jonathan can speak to that if he wants to. I have moderators and I have, people that help in the background. I also have channel friends, almost / partners that I've discussed this with, and they know my approach and they know the way that I approach this channel as a business. And I have meetings, I have, layouts, I have stuff that we want to plan and do, and we go with it, and that's what we do. Well, it isn't that we were getting a lot of pushback. It's just that there was a lot of absentness from it. And so it created some dynamics that were just not working. And so at the end of the year, I just had to reevaluate what's best for the channel. And what's working best for the team and the channel. And I had to make that switch at QB.
And I mean, the big thing that's so hard about this for me is it's just a big dynamic change. I mean, you guys just have seen probably in the last couple of weeks when we did start getting new mods in. there was definitely a reason for that, and Alex and I talked about it beforehand, and I contacted the 2 that we typically have here. We have Ben, and then Lou will be around sometimes to help out, and, yeah, I just wanted to make sure if we were gonna do this, we were gonna have people there that are ready and know what they're doing, and I'm really happy with the team we have now. Um,
Yeah. And
I know
so
I'm very proud of it.
that's the beginning of the overview of the channel. Now, the overview of the channel is um this time content, I'm still going to be making my content. The moderators or the new moderators are going to be moderating, and they're going to be very, very good at what they do because they both had test runs on a couple of different live sessions, and they work well. The other thing is Jonathan is actually going to be making content for the channel, and he's going
I
to be helping out in that aspect. Besides doing some editing and doing some, he does like a lot of the shorts that we do. He edits a lot of the shorts and he does that kind of stuff. So he's going to continue that aspect. Props to him. So the channel shouldn't change much over the course of the overview of it. You're just going to see more content of it. Jonathan, you want to talk a little bit about the type of content that you're going to do?
Okay. There's a few different types I'm really wanting to do. There's definitely the standard content, kind of like what you already do, Alex. I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely be making. Like I have one that's coming out hopefully soon after Alex reviews it. Let's see if he likes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little fun parts about that. Um, and then I definitely want to be talking a little bit more on the Android space, right? We may be a Linux community, but at the same time, that's where a lot of my background comes from. And that's the reason why I switched to Linux in the first place, was so I could do Android work when I was younger. And I think with the lack of documentation or solid documentation out there, it'll definitely do some good to help people learn how to build ROMs or basically keep their phones free, right? Free as in freedom, just like we do with our computers with Linux. That's what I'm generally wanting to talk about. There will definitely be some stuff I definitely want to try to talk with Alex about with shorts, seeing what we can do with that. I'm kind of wanting to do almost like mini series into shorts, which could be pretty cool, talking about like different tools and different types of Linux based content, but making it where it's quick and accessible so that you guys don't have to sit down and necessarily watch a 13, 15, 20-minute long video. But that's definitely something we'll be talking about in private.
Right. And
Yeah.
that, and we'll make those kind of decisions as we go along. I'm certainly not opposed to bringing Josh says written content to write. Video is kind of no good for persistent docs.
I'm not necessarily against it. I could maintain GitHub docs or GitLab docs if you guys really, really want it. Like just having a basic website hosted through there, I'm not necessarily against that. So
That wouldn't be a bad idea,
that's
actually.
something
That way you can
yeah.
back up what you're putting on the video. That's always a nice idea. Speaking of GitLab, I'm getting ready to make a GitLab myself and start uploading my stuff up there too. So I'm going to do that. I was thinking. I'll preface why this is going to happen in a little bit, and I'll go deeper into it. But I'm thinking about creating a GitLab myself to put stuff on there, like my Grub video and stuff like that. A lot of people customizing Grub. A lot of people have been asking me about that stuff, mostly as of recently. In fact, you commented on one guy who came for watching on the Grub thing, and he says came for this and stayed for the rest. Also,
Yep,
if you're
exactly.
I also like to thank, before get too far, my channel subscribers as well, that are out there. If you're out there in the chat, thanks guys for all you guys do. Anything you guys do to help the channel always is appreciated. But channel members, not subscribers, channel members. But either way, I'm thinking about doing that to help those people out too, because I can refer it to that. Oh,
And something
Josh, I'll definitely
else
talk to you
just
if
to
you want to.
mention.
Josh, if you want to host
Oh,
a
go ahead.
website, yeah, we'll talk offline. All right, brother. I'll talk to you about that in the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great, man. Let's definitely talk about that. I definitely want to be at that meeting if you don't mind, Alex.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, I mean, I want to take it more to that level too, so that I truly help people in ways. Because I mean, I know it probably surprises a lot of people because most YouTubers don't do something that I always prided myself doing back when I was singing and doing performance and working with music and stuff. Is I always interact with the fans, always. I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. And it's the same for my channel members and subscribers. In the Discord and in these YouTube chats, 9 times out of 10, it's me actually talking to people in there. And it's not a moderator. It's not any, it's legitimately me. Only time it happens is very rarely when Jonathan, the moderator, who's a YouTube moderator, is coming home from work and he'll respond. But 9 times out of 10, almost always that's me responding to people in there. I'm always looking for comments. In fact, I look more at comments than I look at views, to be honest with you, because
I believe it.
Because I believe in giving. I'm 100% real, and I believe in giving the people, that personal touch, no matter what your status is with the channel, whether you're a subscriber or a member. Period. I even have people that they'll write me some type of bull crap, and I'll respond back, to that, even instead of just ignoring it, I actually respond back to it. But either way, man, I just love that, and I want to make the channel better in that way, to also corroborate where if they don't watch the video, that they can go to another place and maybe read it. So that's why I want to set up my website. I was going to do that, but I had an issue with Arch.
I get it. My big thing, we definitely need to talk about the website thing, because if we do a website, I wonder if we can incorporate the documentation portion into that, being like a tab or something. But I just figured it'd be easier just having one domain or whatnot. But the big thing that I'm definitely wanting to see come out of this season, right, is definitely bringing out a lot more of that personality this time around, because I mean, just look at the music we brought out today. No, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We came up with that idea not like about 2 hours ago, and we thought we found some music we really liked and went, "Hey, we're gonna go with this." So it's all for you guys, definitely.
So that being said, that's kind of like an overview real quickly of what we're going to do. We didn't want to make this too much of a formal podcast right now. It's just kind of a meet and greet. If you guys got questions, suggestions, besides, I already know, Josh, that's not happening. Don't even say it. The Gen 2 thing, nope, I'm not going there. Okay. If he wants to make a video doing that, he can, but it's not going to come from me. I cannot stand installing Gen 2. I've done it many times in my life here in Linux life, and I'm just not going to do it. It's okay. I'm almost to that point with Arch, with what Arch recently did to me. Now, Darren made a comment based on my video, which I thought he made the comment on my short that I made about what recently happened to me and what operating system I'm on. And it wasn't that. Actually, it was in response to my backing up short, which I feel like, oh wow, you missed that one. But Arch did what it always does to me every year. It just dumps my shit. It broke again, only in the middle of an update. Only this time, it didn't just take out Grub. No. It did. Whiskey Joe says he did a stage 3 about 15 years ago. That was So it didn't just break Grub. No, it took out my entire package, my packaging system. I mean, my file management system. Except what was weird is certain folders were there, not everything. So I was able to rescue some shit through a live USB, but in the end, it was so broken I had to go with something else. And so a very good friend of mine, whom I love very dearly, who are like, I mean, we call each other on the phone, we have back channel chats. I mean, he talked me into trying his dot. And so I went with the NixOS Zany's dots.
Alex.
And
Alex.
What?
Why? We already had this conversation, but why, bro? Why?
Well,
I've heard of, I mean, look at the issue with OBS that you were having already.
Getting a water bottle. I got to hydrate for this one.
You
Yeah.
just had Brave freeze earlier.
Yeah, but that's just honestly, that's the only thing that I've ever had happen so far. And I've been on it now for almost a week.
What about the Arch thing? Yeah, this is why I don't use Arch anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so,
I think you're running into the same issues I was running into for the most part.
well, yeah, I mean, it's stable and stable and stable and stable, and it makes you, it like allures you into believing Arch isn't bad at all. There's no problem with this, you know? This isn't going to be bad. And then all of a sudden,
It just
bam, it drops a
turns
freaking
into a
hammer on you.
dumpster fire.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like, holy crap. If you're using
Yeah.
Wayland, OBS doesn't work right on you talking about NixOS or Arch? Because I've actually had it work right on both. The only thing that isn't working right in Wayland is because of the way that Nix is. So what makes Nix, and I just did a video on it, what makes Nix so different is its file management system. Kind of like another distribution I'm getting ready to do a video on. It does it a lot differently. And so what happens is when you like, there is no browser, OBS browser support that I know of fixed yet for OBS. Other than that, that's my only problem I have with OBS, is that the web browser socket support does not work in NixOS for some reason on their Wayland or on their OBS, and it's at 29 is what their package is in the in their repositories.
Have you got with Zany and seen if he found a workround or
No, not yet.
something that
No,
makes
no,
it where that
no,
works?
no. I have not. I have not gotten with Zany. I haven't done anything like that. But in other than that, it's beautiful. And I got to tell you, the Brave thing froze. I don't know why Brave froze, but I don't give a shit, about Brave. I use Vivaldi as my predominant browser anyhow. But the truth of the fact is one of the most, if I'm going to say, I said it in the video and I'm going to say it here. Hyperland on NixOS is the best way to run it. Hyperland. They make a lot of their packages, and their setup is set up a lot more for NixOS. There's a lot more help with NixOS. I mean, it's included as a module. You just enable it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and then the vibrancy of the colors, the clarity of the screen, the way that everything just looks is literally, I thought it was a night and day difference in Arch when I ran Hyperland on Arch with Wayland. I really did. You ain't seen shit yet, bro, until you do it in Nix.
I know you and I already had the conversation where I should definitely try it. I have yet to actually try it, to tell you the truth. It's just been more of like, I don't know if I want to take the plunge.
Yeah, the thing about NixOS, man, that is key, and Josh and I, and the way that Tyler has set it up, not Josh and I haven't really talked about it, but the way that Tyler set it up is he's using a Flake and Home Manager, which kind of brings it more to that's the way you get the closest you can to an actual standard Linux distribution feel of it. As to far your home directories and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And Flakes is, where you go and you update your packages there. Still, updating and installing packages is very different. You do that in your packages configuration. You do have to know some configuration,
You need to know how to edit your configuration.
Yeah, edit your configuration file. It's kind of like, to me, like I said in the video, it's like taking a Windows manager and putting it on crack. Because at least with the window manager, when you install window manager, you have a certain set basic configuration file that's made for you. Basically, in NixOS, all you get is basically the system files, a terminal, and an editor that you use to build everything else. I mean, you tell it everything that you want, right. Literally. You know what I mean? And so Josh says, too bad Nix itself doesn't work very well in a practical sense. They literally have to fork 90% of the packages since Nix is now LFHS compliant, or is not LFHS compliant. Yeah, and no, but I mean, but it's an outside of the way thinking of the box, but it actually works, and it actually, once you get it, it kind of sort of makes sense. I mean, as a developer, so one of the cool things about Nix, yeah, Flakes does make it super easy to do the config. Yeah, it does. It brings it more into a standard kind of window manager type feel. Only it's the Nix configuration language that you use. But really, I mean, if you use those two added components to Nix, dude, you're not missing much, really.
So earlier, I actually saw in the chat a comparison to how Nix is kind of like what Arch used to be, right? That won't. It's more like your developer friendly.
Yeah. Like Arch back in the day, before before
before
it
they've done
is.
to it. Yeah, but Darren here is asking what I use for my distribution. I right now I'm using Fedora. I still love OpenSUSE, but I'm starting to run into some issues in terms of not stability per se, but there's just some stuff that is a little weird. It's just not as well optimized as Fedora is, unfortunately.
Are you still defending? Are you still defending?
I'm defending because it's a cool concept. It's not a bad distribution overall, but it's one of those things where it's like, unfortunately, you need a company to back it more than what they have. Like, I have documentation written up right to speed up DNF or Zipper on OpenSUSE, but there's only so much you can do, and really, at the point of when you doing that, you might as well just use Fedora. So,
you even switched to DNF instead of the package.
I did
the zipper, right? So now you're just basically using Fedora with the Gecko front end.
Yeah, exactly my point. Right. The one thing I do like more about it in general, though, is you have an option of using DNF4 or DNF5. So you do have to get that choice. But at the same time, it's like that's the only extra thing that I've seen so far that you couldn't just do and configure on Fedora as it is. So
what War Thunder wrote in the thing, Nix is cool, not sure how practical it is for the average person. Okay, so I want to talk about that briefly, because that's literally the purpose of Zany's dots. Zany is making it very simple for an average person to get in there and get it installed. In fact, he's got a community that's helping him. D-Dubs is helping him with the documentation on the GitLab. I mean, he's got tons of people that are helping him, in pushing commits for his GitLab. So, I mean, he's getting a lot of help, and it's being made to be a little bit more user-friendly than most people would say, and the steps to install it are actually pretty easy. You just install the Nix and you follow his steps over on his dot files. The key thing you do is you got in the flakes.nix is you got to change the personal things in there to the different like type folders and the host name and the username and that kind of stuff. I covered that in the video that I just released. Well, they're not just released. Well, to channel members it's released, but to the public it'll drop on Monday. I know Josh and chat loves that.
And War Thunder, you're saying Zipper is pretty much slow and it sucks. I mean, I understand, but you can also just add an accelerator. I do have instructions on how to do that, but you can also do that to DNF app. You can do it to any package manager if you want to speed up downloads. Just so you know.
Oh, Josh says Snowflake's OS makes Nix easier than Zany's. Interesting.
I've not heard of.
I have not heard of Snowflake's OS.
You want to pull it up, Alex, or do we want to just look at it later?
We can look at it later.
Okay.
Because I don't want to mess the thing. Huh?
Score.
Dude, it's 17-7 in the fourth quarter. 17-7 in the fourth quarter. This is crazy, and the Chiefs have the ball. This is interesting. But yeah, I have to look at Snowflake OS. Huh, interesting. So yeah, I mean, So if you were to make a change from what you're on right now, what would you
Um,
look at?
are you asking me?
Well, you're the only other person on here that I'm talking
Right.
to.
Okay. I thought you might have been talking in chat. Okay. I think I'd probably just stick with Fedora for now on, to tell you the truth. Like, period. Um, I'm I'm at the point of once I get the power supply in and put it in, I'm just gonna do a fresh install of Fedora and call it a day
Really?
because
You gotten to the
yeah,
point you
I
finally getting to the point where you're like done moving around. You just want to stick with what works.
pretty much yeah, and that's why I went to OpenSUSE. But then I've like I told you, I've run into a
Especially
few things.
and that coming, we don't have, well, at least I look at it this way. I don't have the affordability of dealing with very unstable things because I have timelines that I got to try to keep. I got production I got to do. I got videos I got to make, edit, podcast getting ready to start weekly again, that we got to
Yeah,
do, and I can't be dealing
exactly.
with these issues, you know what I mean?
That's exactly why I'm doing it,
Yeah, I
because I
did.
just want a stable environment. I'm wanting to definitely learn more about DaVinci Resolve, right? And I know it works well on it. Um,
Yeah, and you can get the
and
free
yeah,
version pretty much on every repo in every repo there is.
you can,
So,
you
but
can, but
and that's the other thing that I had an issue with Nix on, the second issue that I had with Nix, and it was almost a deal breaker, almost a deal breaker, and that was OBS web browser support does not work. And I don't know any workaround that I got to talk to Zany, see if it's something we got to enable. But that was almost a deal breaker. But other than that, it's very stable. And I like the fact that if it does get borked, all I got to do is reboot, drop down to the last flake rebuild that I did, and it'll reinstall it right back again, no problem, unbroken. So it's kind of like,
so
it's nice, and that's my biggest problem with Arch. What I did is I did a very rookie mistake as a very freaking seasoned, I mean, like extra salt and pepper seasoned freaking vet, that I didn't have freaking Snapper or Timeshift enabled on my freaking Arch distro. I don't know why I didn't do it. I'd gone so long and I was like, oh, okay. And then it got me in the end again, just like it did a year ago. I mean, this doesn't let you do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't let you do that.
I mean, just Josh here is saying
Mm-hmm.
that there are fundamental differences between OpenSUSE and Fedora. That is true, but in my use case, I wouldn't be using them any differently, to tell you the truth. That's mainly why. But you're saying about Arch and Nix. I'm not the biggest fan. It's kind of controversial
Mm-hmm.
of Nix. I think somebody should just use Gentoo instead, personally.
What?
Conversation, but
Repeat that statement again.
that's just I think someone should just use Gentoo instead, but that's just my opinion. I Josh was wanting us to make a Gentoo video. I think I might just do that, honestly. But if I do that, it's going to take a while and take a lot of production time to do, because right, you're compiling. I'm going to do it the Gentoo way if I'm going to do it right. Like, I'm not going to be the person to use binary repos if I'm going to do it.
Well, that's
So
only a recent new thing.
right, I'm just saying, like,
Most
so
people
I
don't
will
even. I don't
probably
think.
at some
I
point
think that
do that.
most people don't even look at Gen 2 and they don't even realize that that's a thing. Only the Gen 2
Right.
people know that that's a thing. I think, you know what I mean?
I mean, I think they might, though, because of how much it's been in the media. It's just been
Mm-hmm.
all over the place when Gen
Oh,
2 is mentioned recently.
by the way, Josh posted in the chat that DaVinci Resolve doesn't work with Fedora 39 right now. So
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've been trying to get it to work.
yeah. Oh, and by the way, Josh as expected, Josh corrected you. The Gen 2 way allows binaries.
We're just not going to agree on this, Josh. I
I
mean, they can say it, but to me, I think if it's going to be a source-based distribution, it should be 100% source. But that just might be my old man ways at the age of 22.
Your old man weighs at the age of 22. Wow. Wow. Just fucking wow. Donna Williams, Nix install CD. Then with Zany's config, you can. Oh, that's D-Dubs, by the way. You can be running Hyperlink in about 30 minutes. Yeah, that's true. I did it with him and Zany the other day on a Discord call, and wasn't even 30 minutes. I think it was like 15. But then I had the whiz kid walking me right through. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Yeah. If you were doing it by yourself, it might have been a few hours, maybe.
Yeah. So, what's up, Darth Vader? How you doing, man? Hadn't seen you around in a while. But yeah, I mean, it's I get you wanting to jump to something stable, especially as you have your channel, by the way. Go plug your channel.
Yep.
Plug it.
Okay, I will plug it. I haven't posted there in a few weeks.
Well, it may not show well in the transition. Just tell people.
I will go ahead and drop a link to it real quick, though.
Yeah, drop a link to it. But Sprungle started his own channels over there. Go ahead and support him. Oh, and also do still support Jesse's channel, Snack Ops Unit, over on YouTube. Do still support his channel. I think he's going to be making content for that channel. Not sure. But and Donald says still faster than a Gen 2 install. Yeah, damn right. Yeah, you're right. You're way right.
Let me know if you can see that link or not.
So far it hasn't posted. I haven't seen it in the chat.
Okay. Then I need to open up under the Linux.
I'm doing a great. Yeah. Darth says I'm doing great. Been busy with web development. Oh, nice. What are you developing, Darth?
Yeah, no, I'm curious.
Yeah, I love how people. Yeah, there you go. Now it just showed up in the chat.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think that moving to that's the problem with Linux is great, and I love Linux. I mean, fuck, I got a YouTube channel dedicated to it. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is it can be so frustrating at times because of the instability that you'll occur. And the thing is if it was expected instability, like it always happened on almost like a scheduled basis, you know what I'm saying? Where you're used. Oh, it's been about 2 weeks. I'm going to have a bug pop up. You definitely prepare for it a little bit better. But when it's just like out of the blue at a year, man, that's when it really, and especially like in the middle of, like I was in the middle of making new things for the channel, moving stuff over and stuff like that, and I was thinking, I got at least a month now that I could, back all this stuff up and get this squared away and then make my change. 'Cause I was planning on changing anyhow, you know what I mean? But no, it just said, it was like, did you hear that, Alex? The Linux 2 said he's leaving Arch. You know what? We're going to fuck with him right now. We're going to catch him unaware. And it's like they dropped the bomb on me. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like they were listening in on you.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
You need to check your house and make sure you don't have
bugs or something.
Have a peeper somewhere in there. Right.
Yeah. Vader says he's just learning, doing some simple projects. Oh, nice. Linux is free if you don't value your time.
I don't agree with that at all. Because, and here's why. I value my time, and I use Linux. And you know what else? I learn a ton in the process. And you know how many people can walk up to me and ask me something, and I can answer their question, but then they'll probably have no idea what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know how good that makes you feel?
And you want to know something? It's funny that you say that because it's true. Linux does teach you a lot. It forces you to learn some stuff just out of sheer willpower to beat or defeat the bugaboo, you know what I mean? But the truth of the fact is, and I've said this before and I will never deny it, where I learned the singular most important lessons about Linux, believe it or not, was in the times that I installed Gentoo. As much as I hate it, I have to, as much as I hate my dad for beating my butt regularly, he taught me a lot, and Gentoo taught me a lot too. I will give that to Gentoo. If you're new to Linux, and within months of new to Linux, no, don't go try it. But if you've been in Linux for about a year, year and a half, 2 years, you understand the concept of a terminal. You understand, about commands and following commands and maybe understanding what is in a command line, then go try doing a Linux build. It's going to teach you the core components of Linux and how to build them and how they interact with each other and how they make the whole thing work, and it'll give you a new appreciation for where shit can go wrong.
And here's the thing: if you're gonna do that, don't be me and try to do it single-handedly by yourself. And here's why. You're gonna want somebody that knows what they're doing to help you get along through that process, right? Because yes, there's documentation there, but some of the wording on some stuff is just so complicated that it's overbearing and
And
it's
a
frustrating.
shameless plug at Tenley J on YouTube. Josh's channel has lots of Gentoo content out there that you can go watch, that he can help you out, or even hit him up and he could help you out with it, if you're willing to try to do that. But yeah, Gentoo teaches a lot for the componentry of Linux and how it all works and ties together. So that helps you because it helps you understand where breakages happen and why they happen. And it also teaches you how to circumvent them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I love Gentoo because honestly, you can learn a lot about other distributions by just using Gentoo, right? Yeah, because all the same, not the same packages necessarily, but all the same pieces are there, right? And it seems to go across different distributions that way too, right? You have your bootloader, of course, then you have your package manager, you have all of the similar applications for the most part. I mean, it's
it's
just
literally,
about
that's what I'm
just
saying. It
figuring
teaches you the
out.
core components of Linux and how they apply and how they work together and where some of your breakages are going to happen. You know what I mean? Ben says, to be honest, I have lost interest in Gentoo. It takes too much time and I'm not a fan of it now. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I value my time, but if you're starting out in Linux, and you're newer to Linux, like I said, you're newer to Linux. You're got a couple years in. You understand how terminal works. You're not afraid of command line, or if you are afraid of command line, you're comfortable enough that you can see before you type it that you're going to make a mistake. Anyhow, just try installing Gentoo. It's going to teach you a lot. Go to the handbook, follow the handbook, and it just works out great. I mean, it taught me a lot. And the handbook back then was great, but it wasn't as clearly documented as it is now. You know what I mean? They've added more to
really
it.
Well done.
Yeah, they've added a lot more. That's a culmination of decades, of it being maintained. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the handbook does really well. Says the guy that wants me to finish my LFS install.
Oh my gosh. I think people are crazy when they go down that route.
That one to LFS is nuts. But either way,
Gentoo. Why are you butthurt?
Who? What?
Ben said he's butthurt that he never finished the install.
That's funny. Don't follow the handbook. Read it. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually, he's more accurate in that. Yeah. Because there's some parts of the handbook you're like, wait, what? And then you have to reference back to other places. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's absolutely right. But the reality of it is I definitely, if you want to learn how Linux works, what makes it hum, what makes it break real easy, then definitely, do that. Take a look at Gentoo. Now, as far as equipment goes, how are you doing with your hardware?
My hardware?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I'm just waiting on that power supply, but everything, it's all built. I just need to put that power supply in. Because like I told you, the other one's bad. I had to RMA it. But I just went ahead and just bought a new one while the RMA process is going on because I don't want to wait. Because we've already been waiting long enough.
Right.
Yeah, it should be here on between the 31st and the 1st on one of those 2 days. I'm super, super excited because
your audio just cut out.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, well, now you're back. Now you're back.
Okay. I got a Xeon. It's 18 cores, 36 threads. It's
Mm-hmm.
from uh trying to think. It's 5th gen Broadwell,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a heck of a beast, and I'm really excited to use it.
Mm-hmm.
My Intel Arc A770, I'm excited to see what they've done with those drivers. I'm just I just saw yesterday an article that if there's some games that are getting triple digit increases on performance
On Arc?
on Arc, triple digit
For real?
for real.
Man. Well,
Yeah, right.
the resident art guys in the chat. So, I mean,
Yeah,
they send him cards to try.
I'm
So,
jealous.
I'm actually, I'm on AMD right now, but I'm actually peaked about trying Arc myself.
It's it at the price point, you just can't really beat it, to
Yeah,
be honest.
which one did you got the A770, right?
Yeah, if you give me a second, I can stand up and grab it if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want.
yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, I got this one. It's a
Yes.
Bifrost version.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most powerful one out of them from what I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I have the A770. I'm super excited for when I get to use it. It's
Nice.
it's gonna
Josh
because
saying fifth gen
I'm
Xeon. He says it might not actually be worth it.
why do you think so, Josh?
I was gonna say
I know it's
explain
powerful.
that, Josh.
Because I just need the amount of cores mainly is what it is for me.
He actually has a 16 arc GP 16. He's got 16 arc GPUs right now, but he can't go into more detail because of non-disclosure.
I
Oh my god.
I wonder if he has he cannot say anything to this
Those are
because of
ones
his
that he's
NDA,
testing
but
right now.
I think he's testing the new ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
based on what he just said. Yeah. Heck yeah. That's great.
that's awesome.
I'm wow. Dang. Okay. Um but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Arc. I think Arc is going to start really throwing some knockout punches towards AMD's way. As much as AMD finally got a break from this monstrous competition between Nvidia, they finally clearly, since Nvidia decided to take their ball and go play elsewhere for the most part and just give leftovers to the gaming community. I think AMD finally is like, yeah, we got it. And now all of a sudden, here comes Intel. You know what I'm saying?
oh, it's not Battle Mage. Okay. But
What?
that's what Josh was saying. Okay.
Oh,
It's first gen.
oh
But
yeah.
okay. For Arc, but for his cards. But yeah,
Oh.
I agree with you, Alex, to some extent on the AMD and versus Arc thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going to end up happening is Nvidia is going to continue to dominate the high end market. They have the most powerful card, right, with their 4090s, or next year, or whenever they release their next card, their 5090 will probably still be the top leaderboard card. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to stay on the top. AMD is going to have the mid market for the most part, and people are going to recommend AMD over Nvidia like they already are,
Mm-hmm.
and for like raw rasterized performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Arc's going to just dominate the lower end market. It can continue to do what it's doing,
Oh, so
but
you
then
think there's
also
just going to
creep
be they're going to
in.
stick to it. They're not going to try to punch up and get into a higher tier.
I cross boundaries a little bit, but I don't think they're going to go quite as far as people think. Because think about it, they don't have competition with each other unless you're talking about your high end
What?
AMD card
No, but
versus
what?
your 4080 or whatever.
So what both of them do bring to the table, and I like, is they both like Intel will work great with their Intel chips and chipsets. And
Yeah.
AMD will work well with their AMD chips and their GPUs. I think that's what they're going to bring the value up. But when it comes to graphics, it's a little bit different because you can get a superior graphics performance out of an Intel card that could be working on an AMD CPU. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So that's where I think that if I was Intel, I would be marketing, the Intel with the Intel chip. Make sense?
Right.
And
Yeah, I
then
get what you're saying.
come out with uh a couple of top tier cards that they could say, this can work with your AMD, Ryzen's and stuff like that, and maybe punch up a little bit.
I'm seeing Josh here
I
say
just said
you can
that,
use
John. I
Intel Arc with
literally
an
just said
AMD.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said
you
that.
can do that, but there's actually an advantage of using if you have a newer, I believe it's 11th gen or higher
Mhm.
chip for using Arc. They have kind of
Yep.
like what AMD does with their CPU and GPU combination.
Hmm.
Intel has their own version of it. I think I showed you a few weeks back, Alex.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's really really cool. So I'm also seeing that he's talking about the 5th gen Xeon. I'm not really too worried about high clocks, to tell you the truth, Josh. For quick sync and whatnot. That's not really what bothers me. And why would I be worried about UCC memory? I'm on a consumer platform.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
Chinese X99 board. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
but he does bring some valid points if you're trying to do a server thing. You know what I'm saying? A
Right,
server
and
build, and that's
right.
fine.
I'm
And that's what
doing
most
yeah.
inherently that's what most Xeon processors are used for. You know what I mean? They're like my roommate. He has a dual Xeon board, socket, right, where he could do two Xeons. It's a server board,
Right.
really, and he's got like something like 400 gigs of RAM in there, and he runs, of all things, Windows 11 on it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course he does.
And he
Of
uses
course
it
he
for
does.
for his personal and business computer.
Wait,
And
how is he able to use all the RAM? Doesn't Windows have a RAM limitation at a certain point,
yeah, I
if I
think
remember
it
right?
does, but it just came with all that RAM when he bought it.
Oh, okay,
So he
cool.
just installed it and it uses the maximum of what it does on there. I think he uses like 100 and I think it only does like 128 gigs or some shit like that. Whatever the max is.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
it's 128 gig, yeah. At least on no wait. Is he on Windows 11 or Windows 11 Pro? I think the Pro version you can go higher.
I don't know if no, he's on just Windows 11, not the Pro.
Gosh, I'm not too worried about it. My electricity here is super super cheap.
What? What's he talking about?
Oh, he's saying that the CPU can idle at 100 plus watts. That's true,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I have really really cheap electricity here. That I thought about
And
that
Don
when
says that Windows
making the
11
purchase decision.
Enterprise is what supports more.
Oh, okay.
But either way, no. But anyhow, so he's right, and he's maxed out on his RAM on it for sure. But he has that thing, and that thing, like he made a file transfer. I was down there with him. He was transferring over like I can't remember. It was like maybe like 70 gigs or some shit like that. And it transferred it like
Yeah.
almost instantly. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Because it was storing it on RAM, not disk. Dang. That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Ooh, I would have seen.
it was insane. It was insane. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, it almost made me, I literally went and immediately priced the freaking AMD EPIC processors and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So here's the thing. I would die like of happiness if I could afford an Epic processor
Yeah.
and the board that comes along with it. Wouldn't you? I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would like just thinking about it gives me those happy feelings. Like the warm fuzz.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And when I saw the prices, I'm like, I was like, no, 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 no,
Like,
no.
oh, I can't do that, bud.
Yeah,
Sorry.
talk about impulsiveness, dude. I was about impulsive as hell right there, man. I was like, but I mean, dude, I can only imagine what it would be like. Can you imagine for like content creation how that would be amazing?
You just gave me goosebumps. I just had like that shiver from goosebumps
Can you
when you just
imagine
said that.
rendering on an Epic processor?
I mean, honestly, if you have a GPU in it, right, you're gonna be offloading it to the GPU anyways, generally speaking.
Well, with an Epic, you might not
Yes.
have to worry about it.
Right, but I mean, I guess you could do it that way, but why wouldn't you just buy a GPU at that point?
Yeah.
You're
I
saving
do it
money
now. I do it
for
now, and it goes pretty fast. I use my GPU for
yeah.
rendering. Especially in Caden Live. But either way, I mean, it's just I can but with those speeds of just file transfers, I can only imagine. Render be like 2 minutes, a
just
minute and a half, a 15-minute
I
video,
just
30-minute video.
oh my gosh. Just, if we ever get to that point, Alex, we know we
Yeah. Oh, I know GPU rendering is still faster. I understand that, but I'm just
yeah.
saying. I'm just saying.
I think he's just doing, like, in terms of concept.
Right.
Right.
When you got like
Right.
I mean, there's some boards out there you can get dual EPYC processors on, and say that's 128 threads processing a 15-minute video. That'd still be seconds. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's slower.
Right. No, I don't know if it would be seconds, right? Because I
Well,
don't think I don't think the applications you'd be using could actually use all of the cores at once.
yeah.
I think they'd be limited by the application.
Well, no, because no, because Caden Live actually detects the cores, and it gives you the maximum amount of cores that you can actually select how many cores for parallel processing and
'Cause,
stuff.
like, I know, like, with game engines, like, for games, right, they do
Yeah.
have a max. So I
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
For
know.
game engines, yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyhow, I mean, it's just insane.
Is, your team winning right now or no?
No, the Ravens are still losing, bastards.
I'm s I'm
Just when you
sorry.
go, they're driving right now. It's 2 minutes in the fourth. They're not going to win this.
Um, this
I
just
don't
got
think they're
really
going to win
sad.
this game. No, they're driving right now. They're in the red zone. They're, I think, on the 25. I don't know, but either way, it's. I don't want to see the Chiefs go to another Super Bowl.
Alex, you might just have to, block that channel for a while.
I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. Unfortunately, it's on the TV service I sell, and I don't have control over which channels I can block individually.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you know, Darren, I would love to hear the benchmark numbers, or if you're over on Discord, drop me the link, throw it in the chat, or you can't in the chat, but
Oh,
drop
the
me a
EPYC
link over on
benchmark
Discord.
numbers?
Yeah, I wanna
Yeah,
see those benchmarks.
yeah. Josh says there is no core limitation. The application just needs to have threads available.
Threads available.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Even though it is still slower than a GPU on something like that, it won't matter.
Oh my gosh. I just imagine you just sit down and be like,
Mm,
"Oh, I gotta do this real quick." Done.
Yeah, literally. It says most games are still built against 32-bit libraries, which has the artificial limitation.
Official.
Got you. Yeah.
Yep.
Darren
Thanks,
says, "Let
Darren.
me go find the video." He's gonna post it. I
This
wonder.
guy's going out of his way.
Yeah, you send it to him in Discord, because I don't think you can post a link in the chat. I think
He won't be able to,
he'll
but I
have to.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I could just see that. I would really enjoy that. That would be a lot of fun. But I didn't buy it because I'm like, that's way overkill.
Like I was saying earlier, like the minute you can just actually you the minute you can do that without having to worry about the money cost is the minute you've done something right in life, right? Like, because I don't know anybody at all that could justify buying one of those. I couldn't even see like Gamers Nexus buying one of those and putting them in one of their servers.
Well,
Like,
no, actually, they do. Especially big channels like that, like LTT, Gamers Nexus. All those guys out there, they will do that, and they'll use a server for their editing team.
right. I was actually watching a video yesterday. They were redoing their networking closet. Did you see that?
On LTT.
Yeah.
Yeah, with those big orange servers. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were poking fun at the damn. I mean, because it looked horrible the way that freaking LTT and Jake did it, and then the other two were doing it. I mean, they're cleaning that. They were cleaning all the wiring and the cable. And it looked out way better. But yeah, I mean, they do use servers for editing, and that's what gave me the. I was like, it's between watching his server downstairs work, and then I was like, Jesus, I could see the application theory for that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Josh, you said Intel i9. You mean Intel Ultra 9?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ryzen 9. Yeah, I did look at the Ryzen
Um,
9. I was thinking about doing a Threadripper actually. That's going to be my next upgrade is probably going to be a Threadripper.
that makes a lot of sense. You should probably not go first gen though.
Oh shit, Josh says he's got 2 Epic servers for work.
I saw that. I'm so
Whoa.
jealous.
Whoa, and how do they work, bro?
Right.
Do they work awesome? Are they working as awesome as I think they do?
I
I'm more
gotta
excited
ask what
about
you're
them.
using them for if we're allowed to
That's what
know.
I was kind of thinking too. I mean, he works I mean for maybe templates, plans for his machines.
Let's see.
Are we more excited about
Uh,
seemingly infinite PCIe lanes than CPU
PCIe
performance?
lanes and CPU performance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a point
Like,
there.
what are you doing that you need Epic
An Epic
chips
server at your
there?
job. That's
Yeah.
interesting. They're so
They're
awesome.
so
They're
awesome, they're
boring.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that new spec of RAM they're trying to?
You
It's
know
been
what?
around for a
I
while.
didn't see the spec, but I saw a little blurb on it. Can you expand on that?
Okay, so it's a new alternative to like SODIMM, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for laptops. I don't know why they want to use this, but I think Dell's been using it for a while or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're just trying to push it to be a
Bye,
norm
Don.
norm
Thanks for
now.
stopping in, brother.
All right, you bye, Don.
So
But
so
I don't know a whole lot about it. I just saw it and I thought it was interesting.
yeah, well, that's one of the hardware componentries out there that hasn't. I mean, they just keep getting like faster clock speeds and stuff like that, but they haven't really revamped. You know what I'm saying? They haven't reworked. I mean, ECC and then came SODIMM. You know what I'm saying? They haven't really reworked anything. Nothing new technology wise has come. Like a complete revamping of it.
I mean, there's a pretty large difference between DDR4 and DDR5, though. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I
like
know there is a
there's
pretty large difference, but it's
look
not a
how
complete revamp like you're talking about.
right, like different form
But then again,
factors.
it's also
Yeah,
RAM. What can you really do about it? I mean, it's
right, right.
immediate, instantaneous write storage that is erased immediately too. You know what I mean? There isn't much you can do about it.
He's using his Epic processor for hard drives.
Hmm.
Gotcha. That's a lot of drives.
What?
48 hard drives.
can actually tax the PCI lanes and CPU pretty hard with just marginal what GA RAID array? Okay.
Managing a RAID array.
Managing a RAID array. Yeah. So yeah, it's managing a RAID array. Yeah. That's insane. That's still impressive though. That's still impressive no matter how you cut it.
Yeah. Oh, smoke break. We'll be able to hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
All right. All right.
so yeah, I mean, it's like I said, that'd be interesting to see something new come on the market for it, but will it really be able to expand upon what's already there? I don't really think so. I mean, I'm not calling for who am I to call for anything anyhow, but I mean, I'm not saying that they need to revamp RAM, but I'm just saying in technology, that's usually the way everything goes, for X amount of years, something goes and all of a sudden they revamp everything, come with some new type of, technology and, layout and the way that it works, and they just have never done that with RAM.
I don't I don't remember, but I know at one point in time I was talking with somebody about this is on a similar context, how they were at different types of cache basically, right, before we had RAM,
Mhm.
because RAM is cheaper to manufacture. And the thing is, I'm wondering, and most of the time cache is faster than RAM, right?
Mhm.
I'm wondering if we're not gonna go forward in technology, but we're actually gonna go back, and at some point we're just gonna have cache sticks instead of RAM with the way that we have it. So, like, we just get it replaced with
Hash sticks.
replacing yeah, so, like, you'd be caching everything instead of
Oh, it just
having
built right
actual
onto the
RAM.
board, you mean?
Yeah, just built straight onto the
You know, I've
board.
often wondered
There's
about
no
that because you
more
could do that in Raspberry Pis.
yeah, you can do it with that. It's on board your CPU already. I mean, you
Yeah.
have L2 cache. I mean, I'm wondering if it's the reason why they have so little is because it's so expensive to manufacture. I
Mhm.
wonder if at some point it's gonna get cheap enough to where we're just gonna replace RAM with cache
Mhm.
in this place. Because you're saying like changing form factors, and I think that's gonna be one day where it's just
Yeah, that's the word I was
it's
looking
gonna
for. Form
go.
factors. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. Josh said that funny thing is when he was specking the servers, the Epic servers were on sale. Got
Or
it,
on sale
and cheaper than the Xeons.
and cheaper than the Xeons.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean,
AMD versus
it'd be
Intel.
very, like I said, be very interesting to see a new, like a form factor. Welcome back, Mr. Darren. We are way over the time by like 9 minutes, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that.
Oh,
Um,
that's
but
fine. I'm cool.
but for me, I would think that like I said, it'd be interesting to see a new form factor of a solid RAM, happen. That would be pretty cool. He said, Josh says, RAM is on
Is
track
on
to
track.
be integrated directly. Yeah, with the CPU. Yeah,
Okay.
Intel already has a spec for it. See
I mean,
the
because doesn't I mean they kind of already do that with volatile memory on the M1, M2, and M3 chips.
yeah
Because
yeah
right, they have yeah, that's basically what he's saying,
yeah,
from what I understand.
which
Yeah.
would make much better sense. I mean, I don't understand why they haven't done that already. You know what I mean? Especially when like SATAs came around versus the IDE hard drives, and they saw the huge uptick in performance. That why wouldn't they have done that with RAM?
I don't know. I mean, right, those are really different things though, right? Because
No, no,
going
but
from
I'm just
IDE to SATA,
well, IDE to SATA had a huge uptick in read write speed
right,
because of the interface that became more
right,
directly integrated towards the CPU than the IDE did.
right. I think I see what you're saying. Okay, okay. I mean, it's crazy because I don't I wonder if it's just a lot more work to do that than we're thinking it
I'm
is.
sure. Well,
That's
so that's the thing.
probably what
So
it
here's the
is.
thing. Right now, boards can be sold at like 120, 130, up to 5,000, depending on whatever price it is, right? Because it only
Right,
has certain amount of things built into the board. With your audio, your video integration, your uh, uh, cache. You know what I'm saying? Now, when they start integrating like RAM into it and that kind of stuff, then that becomes more and more expensive. So it affects their marketing too.
right. And I
So
oh,
you literally could take $100 board and turn it into a $300 board minimum easily.
right, because you're seeing here, I'm looking at what Josh just said because
Yeah,
it's expensive and there is not a market for it back then. I see exactly what you're saying. It's the same thing with like
yeah.
fabs, right? I mean, if we had like just CPU building itself or GPU building, whatever you want to put X there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the reason why it's so expensive to manufacture things is because there's only what 3 or 4 or 5 ish
Mm-hmm.
fabs actually make like they have the actual machine to make CPUs itself,
Right.
right? Because of the I think it's the chip. Because right, you can do the wafer pretty much anywhere that has the tooling, but
Yeah.
if you can't make the chip, Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the chips are expensive. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the more you integrate into the board, the more expensive the boards are. Then it becomes like, well, people won't be able to upgrade or buy the boards, unless you're in a business class. You know what I mean? And that's a difference. I mean, that's a huge difference. So yeah, I get that. I mean, I get that, but still, the form factor could change a little bit, and not. I mean, because I don't know how expensive cash is, but uh, putting like it would be cool if you could do like an immediate cache that was like maybe 20, 30 gigs, or maybe 60 gigs, right? And then add expansion slots for extra RAM. I wonder if that's possible.
It's probably possible, but I don't know why they would do that. Because
to kind of bridge the gap of price, so that if you have 15, 20 gigs of RAM, you know what I'm saying, and you're running something small,
right,
that you don't really need to expand on.
RAM, but it's way, way cheaper to make RAM than it is to make cache.
Well, I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. If they did change a form factor to something like that, that was more inexpensive.
Right. It would mean there'd have to be a lot more fabs and stuff. Like I was actually saying, we're supposed to be getting an Intel one here in the United States, and we're supposed to be getting TSMC. I think it's TSMC's building one in Nevada or Arizona. In that
you mean
area,
an Intel plant,
one of those
processing plant?
Yeah, there's supposed to be an Intel one coming to the U.S., and there's supposed to be a TSMC facility coming to the U.S. And that'll help them make it where they can start building and designing chips here, which is super cool.
That's cool. In Nevada?
It was either Arizona, Nevada. It was in that area last time I read.
Interesting.
That's cool that it was supposed to be there. Yeah,
that'll be cool. I wonder if they're going to give. I wonder if they're going to give LTT a tour of that facility, like they did the one over in whatchamacallit. I want to say Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember exactly.
I think it was there. Yeah.
I think it was Saudi Arabia, but yeah, I wonder if they're going to give them a tour like they did that one, which was surprising because from what I understand, dude, employees don't even get to carry cell phones in there. They keep everything. I mean, they keep everything top secret. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if somebody figures out how you make your chips, you just went out of business. Because if somebody figures out how you make your chips, you just went out of business because they're going to find a way to make them cheaper.
Well, that doesn't stop the old traditional way of reverse engineering. You buy one, you tear it apart, and figure it out.
Good luck getting the tools to reverse engineer a CPU chip.
I'm just saying. That's part of it.
I agree.
They just figure out what the components are, what it's made of, and then they find their way of recompiling it and doing it. I mean, not throwing shade against anybody, but one of the greatest countries in the world at reverse engineering and disseminating products is China. Send it over there.
Yeah, and I mean, they've tried to do that with a few. They've tried to do that to CPUs, but what I've seen is a lot of the times they will reverse engineer things, and you literally just buy an Intel CPU, change the cap on it, and say it's their own thing.
Yeah. So, well, anyhow, listen, it's 3:16. We've gone over a little bit, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll call it a day. The Chiefs beat the Ravens. They're getting ready to go into the Super Bowl. And hopefully they're going to be playing the Lions and they'll lose to the Lions. That's my last ditch effort hope of watching the Chiefs lose. Everything is open source if you can reverse engineer, pretty much. Josh is right. Yep. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and we'll leave it here, guys. Thank you guys for your comments in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a couple weeks. We took some time off. February, the first weekend of February will be actually episode 1 of season 2. We will continue our stuff then. Hopefully, you're going to see here very recently within the week a new episode. A new video coming out from Jonathan. My new one will be out on Monday. Tune into it. Make sure you thumbs up it. Of course, if you run across this and you watch this to the end and you've not joined the channel, please consider joining the channel if you're a subscriber. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. We could use the help. Either way, y'all keep doing what you do. Keep on Linuxing. Stay blessed. Stay happy. And above all, we'll see you in the very next one.
Bye, guys.